Somebody Central Unit is a Central Man here, so back again with another classic WCW pay-per-view review. So this time I'm going to review Capital Combat 1990 at the DC Armory in the American capital of Washington DC on the 19th of May 1990. This is the first and only Capital Combat in WCW history. The attendance for the show was 7,500, and the buy rate for Capital Combat is a 1.4, about 160,000 pay-per-view buys. Jim Ross and Bob Cardle on commentary. The first match to kick off Capital Combat of 1990, we got a six-person tag team match. Road Warriors and Norman, not Norman as Norman Smiley, Norman the lunatic. That is Mikey Shaw taking on Cactus Jack, Kevin Sullivan, and Bam Bam Bigelow. An okay opener. Wasn't like, oh, this was a terrible match, but at the same time, it wasn't go, wow, this was a great opener. I need to watch it again. It's just a standard six-person tag team match, nothing special. In the end, you had Hawk kind of like did a flying clothesline onto Kevin Sullivan to win this match for his team. And this was the Road Warriors' final pay-per-view match and pay-per-view appearance in WCW before going to the WWF. A fun fact that throughout the whole 90s, the Road Warriors kind of bounced between WCW and the WWF. I think they had one run in ECW, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, the next match, we got Johnny Ace, that is John Laurinaitis, the future. This is decades before he's the vice president of talent relations and the future general manager of both Raw and SmackDown, taking on Mean Mark Calloway. That's Mark Calloway. By the time this review is out, the news that Mark Calloway, aka The Undertaker, has retired. So it was an okay match. It wasn't really terrible for what it is. It was just like, nothing special. With Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, I think it was alright in Japan. But the only John Laurinaitis match I saw was against John Cena at Over the Limit in 2012. He's not that good. He had some offense, but like for me, Mark, he was okay. He hit like the heart punch. And then he did, the one thing about Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, he doesn't move like a typical big man. No, he moves like a cruiserweight. He does his type of tight walking, type of acrobatic, type of clothesline off the top rope onto Johnny Ace to win this match. Because Mean Mark kind of debuted in 1990, not 1990, he debuted in 89 in WCW. Before that, he wrestled in World Class Championship Wrestling in Texas. I think he had one more match in WCW on a pay-per-view. That was against Lex Luger at Great American Bash before he left the company in September, before getting signed with the WWF in October, before making his debut at the Survivor Series of 1990 as The Undertaker, and the rest, I say, is history. Okay, then we got Tommy Rich and Captain Mike. Captain Mike is Mike Rotunda. Don't worry, he'll be IRS Owen R. Shyster in the WWF, taking on the Samoan SWAT team. I think it's called Samoan Savage, I think, and Fatu. Fatu is the future Rikishi. And the Samoan SWAT team will later on become the head shrinkers in the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. It was an okay tag team match, let's be honest. It was okay. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't really a bad match. But at the same time, it wasn't great. I think the problem is some parts were a bit boring. Is it necessary? I think the match went too long in my opinion. It went about nearly 20 minutes. They should have cut it down to about 10 minutes in my opinion. In the end, I think it was Fatu or Samoan Savage hit like a double axe handle. I think it was on Tommy Rich to win the match for his team. Okay, the next match, we got Paul Ellering versus Theodore Long, or Teddy Long. You got one manager of the Road Warriors taking on one manager of Doom. And Theodore Long managed Mean Mark's match earlier on the show. This is a hair versus hair match. I'll explain to it a bit shortly. this was basically a wrestler versus boxer match as well. It's like not a good match. The only bad match on the show, the Johnny Ace Mean Mark match. It was like wasn't really a bad match to be honest. It was just like nothing special. It's just like showcase what Mean Mark could do, not just how like Mean Mark could be not just going to be not just the best star in the WWF, but one of the legendary stars in pro wrestling in the next couple of decades. Anyway, so in this match between Paul Ellering and Theodore Long, or I'm gonna call him Teddy Long. Not a good match. Yeah, and really for Teddy Long's physique, he's not a skinny guy to be honest. Theodore Long, he's ripped, he's shredded to be honest. In the end, you had Paul Ellering. I think he used one of Teddy Long's boxing glove, hit him in the face. Ellering got the victory. That allows Teddy Long to get shaved his head bald. And here's a funny fact: in the he managed also Doom. I'll get to this is gonna be a spoiler alert. In Doom's match with the Steiner brothers, by the time I think one of the Steiner brothers took Theodore Long's handkerchief, his bandana away off his head. They didn't even shave his head, and for one, like Teddy Long doesn't have any head on top of his head. He only had hair on the side and the back, which is like it was really a pointless gimmick. And yeah, with Paul Ellering, at least with Paul Ellering has some hair. Right now haven't got any hair, but back then he has hair. The wrong person won in my opinion. Anyway, so let's move on to the next match. The next match, we've got the United States Tag Team title match between Flying Brian Pillman and Tom Sink, aka the Z-Man, taking on the Midnight Express. That is Stan Lane and beautiful Bobby Eaton with Jim Cornette as their manager. Jim Cornette was locked in a cage, and this was an awesome match. Really awesome. Between Z-Man and Brian Pillman. I think they just got good chemistry, man. Between Pillman and Z-Man and Midnight Express. In the end, I think it was one member of the Midnight Express hit like this, was it a sun flip, roll up onto the Z-Man to score the victory, and the Midnight Express won the United States Tag Team titles. It's the first title change in the show, and like with Z-Man, it's a damn shame how Z-Man never do well in the business. With Brian Pillman, it's the same. He had some success in WCW, but it's looking back, as like in 1990, and by the time in '97. He died. He died a few years later. It's just a damn shame. Two good workers never done anywhere in the pro wrestling business. Look to Brian Pillman. He wasn't the Horseman, and then also with the Hart Foundation, two best factions in pro wrestling history. Anyway, so the next match we got the Rock and Roll. Actually, before that, there's the only segment on this show is the RoboCop segment. Okay, the tagline for this pay-per-view is called The Return of RoboCop. It's just promoting the second RoboCop film. You basically had Sting gone beaten down with the Horseman. He got Horseman beaten down because the main storyline for WCW at this time basically like the Horseman kicked Sting out. This was earlier in 1990 because he going to challenge Ric Flair for the world title. And Sting is still recovered from knee injury. I think he injured his knee at Wrestle War. That's the previous pay-per-view in WCW in that year. Yeah, so the Horsemen beat down Sting, lock him up in a cage. The members representing the Horsemen are Ollie Anderson, Arn Anderson, and Sid Vicious. It's really, I never knew that Sid was in the Horsemen. Anyway, so you got RoboCop. I don't know, it's Peter Wellers, because at the time Peter Wellers was RoboCop. I don't know, is this guy wearing the RoboCop suit? He came and basically broke Sting out of the cage. This is so cheesy in my opinion. I understand it's just publicity. You're trying to build up to get people to watch RoboCop. It's a publicity stunt. I understand that. But at the same time, it's just gone off very cheesy and bad. It just made the Horsemen look like goofs. It's just giving Sting some time to do on the show, while he's recovering from knee injury. The final three matches on the show, we got the Rock and Roll Express. I think it's Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton taking on the Fabulous Freebirds. That is Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin. This is a corporate punishment match. It's basically a strap match. The strap kind of used in this match, but throughout the whole match, it was good technical style wrestling. It was a really good match. In the end, the Rock and Roll Express got the victory. So move on to the next match. We got the NWA Tag Team Title match between the Steiner brothers. That is Rick and Scott Steiner taking on Doom. That is Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. What a good match. Both the Steiners and Doom, they're just big, jacked up motherfuckers. Awesome match. In the end, Doom got the victory, defeated the Steiners to become the new tag team champions. I think they are the first, I might be wrong about this, I think they're the first black tag team champions in WCW history. This is like years before Holland Heat become tag team champions. Because it's really planting the seeds what Holland Heat can do. I don't think Holland Heat will win the tag team belts, dominate the tag team division, not if Doom did not win the tag team belts on the show. Doom is very most underrated in my opinion. Because people talk about the tag team division in WCW. People talk about the Outsiders, Holland Heat, the Steiner brothers. They don't talk about Doom. I think it's the most underrated tag team. I think they hold the belt until 1991, the following year. I think it was at Wrestle War. Anyway, so moving on to the main event. The main event, we got a steel cage match between world champion Ric Flair defending the belt against the United States champion Lex Luger. Not the best Luger and Flair match in history, but it was still a good match for what it is. It's in the steel cage match. I think you had Woman, Nancy Sullivan, and the future Nancy Benoit in Ric Flair's corner. The cage was similar to a Hell in a Cell match, but it's anyway. So it's not a cell match; it's a cage match. So anyway, this match was still good. Ric Flair bled buckets in this match. I think like Luger kind of smacked his face in the cage. Like Flair kind of in the small bulks of the match kind of work on the knee of Luger. Lock him in the figure 4 leg lock. In the end, you got this person wearing this leather jacket, and we got the return of Barry Windham. Barry Windham is basically, he had a run in WWF before left the NWA. He had the run in WWF in, 1989 as the Widowmaker. Didn't do well. It didn't got over, so he came back to WCW and cost Luger the match because he locked Flair in the torture rack. And basically he attacked one of Luger's knee. That caused a DQ. That was really planting the seeds of, this is like nearly 28, 29 years before, Hell in a Cell matches in WWE caused of DQs. Anyway, so the Horsemen came down, beating down Luger more. And then you got Sting and L.A. Dante trying to help Luger. The Horsemen chased away. And then the funny part, when Tony Schiavone trying to interview Ric Flair said to a fan, "Shut your mouth." This is years before you do the running gag, "Shut up, fat boy." And then Sting beating down Ric Flair, and then the rest of the Horsemen beat down Sting. It's basically set up the next month's pay-per-view. That is a Great American Bash. Sting went on to defeat Ric Flair for the World Championship at Great American Bash, winning his first of many championships not just in WCW but in TNA. Anyway, so my final rating for Capital Combat of 1990, the only Capital Combat in WCW history, is a 6 out of 10. It was Tales of Two Halves. It was a good match. They showcased a lot of tag team wrestling because WCW and WWF have really good tag team division at this time. So I say Pillman and Z-Man versus the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express versus the Freebirds, Steiners versus Doom, and also Ric Flair and Luger. Instead of the DQ finish, They were the good moments of this match. Something like match in the middle. Something in the middle has to be the opener, and Tommy Rich and Captain Mike versus the Samoan SWAT team. That was just okay for what it is. Yeah, I'll put Johnny Ace and B Mark in the middle. It wasn't really a bad match, like I say. Wasn't like terrible. It was just something in the middle. And the only bad in the match had to be the appearance of RoboCop, and also Paul Ellering and Teddy Long. That was just bad. And also the ending of Flair and Luger in the cage with Wyndham. It's good to see Wyndham return, but it's just causing a DQ. I don't know why. Hey folks, thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments below, smash the like button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. And by the way, before I end this video, follow me at Central Man Rise on Twitter. I put on a poll for the next classic WCW pay-per-view review. Your choices are Bash at the Beach 95, Bash at the Beach 96, Bash at the Beach 2000, and Beach Blast 92. So I'm out. Peace.